Man, what's going on, y'all? It is that time, my baby. What's good? What's good? Let me get up in the frame. Yeah, there we go. It is time for the show known as Game Time Audible, our weekly sports podcast where we talk all things sports. And this week, my friends, we got a lot to talk about. We gonna get it in this week, y'all. Some of everything been going on in sports. I know y'all been keeping up with some of it, but we gonna give you our insights on it. Me and of course that man right there, the one, the only, the sports guru himself, Hugh Lee. What's going on, Hugh, my baby?
What's up, man? You caught me slipping drinking that water, man. I wasn't ready.
Oh man, you ready? You got to be ready. We got to talk it all, bro. You ready?
Hey, it's a lot of stuff been going on, man, and it's been like piling up, man. I said, wow, we never had that big of a pile up before a show before, man. This was the first.
Right, man. Keep in mind, we probably won't even get to it all tonight, but hell, if enough stuff go on the rest of the week, we may do a bonus episode next week. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. But
Yes,
in the
sir.
meanwhile, here's the thing. Y'all know the plan. We're going to get y'all to go ahead, get y'all drink together, your nachos, your chips, your popcorn, whatever it is. Share it live with the folks that you know like to talk sports with us. When we come back, we're going to jump straight into it. Starting with the big sports story of the day about one Chucky. That dude. We're going to get into it. This is Game Time Audible. That is Hugh. This is E. That is Bigo. What up, Bigo? And we is ready to get it in after a couple of these words from our sponsors here, the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network. Our voices for our people.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Behind the Blue Curtain, Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Unscripted talk on police reform and race relations.
And now, Behind the Blue Curtain's law enforcement liaison, retired 32-year Chicago police veteran, homicide detective, former commander, sergeant, grant writer, lecturer, and adjunct professor, Joseph J. Mosley.
Behind the Blue Curtain's Minister of Common Sense, former 12-year Fort Worth police officer, educator, voice of reason, and unapologetic practitioner of sound judgment, the young scholar, LaRonda Young.
Behind the Blue Curtain's co-host, fact checker, and investigative journalist, Isidoro Rodriguez.
Look at that, David Ford, that's his name. You don't know Tom. Yeah. Yes. Oh, here we go. Oh, I can't see the demons. I can't see the demons, but I can see the light.
We are creating black luxury across this country.
What's up, everybody? We are back at this Game Time Audible. This big dude right here in the all black, that would be me, Eric B. And that, of course, is the sports guru Hugh Lee. We are here to talk sports tonight and lots of it. And look who has popped in the building. Pride Hunter in the house. What up? Greetings from my brother in the D. What's going on? As you know, we are broadcasting live and direct from Detroit. So when we get to this first story, people that live here that look like me may feel some type of way. What am I talking about? We talking about that dude we call Chucky, the man known as John Gruden. My people, we got a problem here, okay? Now, for those of you who do not know, John Gruden is the former coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. See, I almost did. But yeah, he has resigned due to this firestorm that has hit him in regards to previous emails he has sent his employer. Let me break it down, Hugh, because usually I kick it to you, but I got this. Basically, the New York Times printed a story recently in regards to the investigation of one Washington football team. If you remember, about a year or so ago, there were allegations that there was a bad and toxic work environment there in Washington, and as a result, an investigation took place. In that investigation, they determined that yes, several of the employees were being sexually harassed and dealt with crudely, talked to all type of ways. Some of the people in the building, there was not nice folks. As a result, the Washington football team made several changes to staff and personnel. They even changed the ownership to a small degree, as now Dan Snyder's wife runs the day-to-day operations of the team. Though we do know that means Dan's still running the show. We know that,
right? Dan still got his hand in the cookie jar. Your mic.
Yeah, we've been having a little technical issue with this mic thing. So if I pop in and out, trust me, I know, and Hugh knows. Hugh, if you see that happen, just jump on in there until I can get it back together. Okay, sir?
Did you know one of the guys who had some involvement in these allegations, he was like almost a middleman who seen all the transactions and know what was going on? I'm surprised they didn't spill his name out there earlier, man. Your boy Adam Scheffler had something to do with these emails. You aware of that?
I didn't know he had something to do with them, but I do know he was one of the people that had spoken out about what some of them contain. As he said, Adam Scheffler, in terms of NFL, he gets everywhere. He gets in all the cracks and crevices that people don't know, just like Stephen A. tends to do in the NBA. All right, hold on. Prior to saying, yeah, actually, Las Vegas is where the Raiders are now, King Self. They moved a couple years ago, sir. Dan is supposedly receiving counseling regarding his toxic behavior, so the league knows that this is supposedly a temporary thing. And that is BS, my man. Not that you're saying that. I do believe what you're saying. What I'm saying is, no, that is not a do. Understand, there are several factors that's taking place here. First of all, the main emails that are in question are those that one John Gruden sent to the president of operations at the time, Mr. Allen. Allen, who was the team president at that point, was one of the people that was receiving these emails about various subjects, NFL. And understand, initially, the first thing that was said that there was a racist email that came out in regards to a couple players. That he apologized for because at that point, that was the only email that had surfaced. And he basically was going to ride the wave, okay? But what happened was the New York Times investigated and basically came out with several other examples of emails that he had put out there involving the gambit of people, okay? He had racist emails. He had gender equality emails, basically talking about the Sam situation, how he felt like he was coerced into drafting a person that was homosexual at the time. He talked about how he did not like how the NFL had women come in as referees. He had issue with that. He basically, you name it, they said he had an issue with it and talked about it very badly. And I understand we do not have the full text of these emails at this time, but the NFL Players Association, they want them. They want to see all of them, all the emails. What do you think about that, Hugh?
I think that they should definitely let it out, man. You know, if he's going around and doing this on a daily basis, man, and it, like you said, it strikes back from like 2010 and all the way till like 2018, 2019. And you know, it just basically surprised me, because you know, me being a big fan of John Gruden, you know how much I used to talk to you about how I enjoy the quarterback, you, and all the stuff he did for football, man, and just loved, you know, his the analyst, man. I just thought he was a great person when it came to the game. You could tell his passion and how much he loved the game, and just to see all the things he was doing, and the
And
whole thing about Demore Smith.
he had a great love for football, but apparently not football players. Remember, the
Yeah,
majority of the NFL, they look like us, man.
pretty
They
much.
look exactly like
He's
us.
basically, man.
Remember, he could have done great strides for the game in the position he was in at the time as the person in charge of Monday Night Football. And like you said, some of those great things he was doing with the young quarterbacks. However, behind the scenes, he talking all type of racist crap. And remember, these are thousands of emails from this Washington football. Not that he made thousands of emails, but there are thousands of emails in regards to the investigation. You got to remember, Mr. Allen was not the only person receiving emails from Chucky. Okay, who else was getting these emails? Did Dan Snyder get some of these emails? Did other people around the league get these emails? And more importantly, if they have, are they going to reveal that fact now that all is being put out there? Or are we going to have to wait until they get leaked and trust and believe? Just like the WikiLeaks and all that went out with former potential President Clinton, that yeah, these emails, they will get leaked some way, shape, or form. Do you really want to have that narrative come out before you speak on it? Saying, oh yeah, there was a couple he sent me. The problem we have, people, is that this involves three things. One, a bad person. This dude is a bad person. He did good things for the game, but he's a bad person. If that's how he felt about us and them and the alphabet children and women and so on and so forth, he had no need to be in anybody's locker room being the leader of anybody's organization.
And
Two,
you know,
these emails did not come to the light of day until a couple weeks ago, but the NFL apparently knew about them ever since last year and said nothing. Go ahead, Hugh.
what really surprised me too, man, when it all first came to light too, man, how emotional and how passionate, you know, you see Randy Moss, man, he was in tears, man, saying that things ain't changed and this world is still racist, man, as far as how they treat the athletes and how they treat people of color. And he was tired of it. And Booger McFarland, man, he wasn't too excited about that too. They were some of the main ones and the advocates saying they need to start releasing these, you know, emails and letting us know what's really going on, man. Because of the fact is, if he had the nerve to say it, they might as well give us all of the information he was saying. You know, don't hide it and try to sugarcoat it and protect him. If he was doing all this stuff, we want to see everything that he brought out there, man. And it's just really sad because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Gruden, and like you said, a lot of things he did for the sports. He did so much for the college and the high school kids that's coming out. But like you said, he's a bad person, man. He didn't genuinely feel and have some of these feelings that we all thought that he had, man. I know some of the players when he first was released by the Buccaneers said they didn't like him and he was an a-hole, and they basically just thought that he was, a lot of them said he was racist, but you know, we thinking like, man, are you really saying that because you're saying that, or are you saying that because there's some proof behind it? And it's like, man, it had merit to it, you know. It's just sad because when you think we take two steps forward, we take five steps back, man. And this just lets you know, man, and it's unfortunate, man, you know, and I'm not saying all people are bad or racist people, but racism gonna forever exist, man. And that's something that we'll never be able to put a close in, man. There's never gonna be a closure to that.
I mean, hold on. I'm trying to find this exact thing that one of his former players said in regards to one John Gruden. Hold on. Yeah, keep going, Hugh. I'll get there. All right, hold on. I think
You
I
found it?
African American features and the things that he said about disparaging women, things of that nature. I was surprised about those sort of things. Talking about the LGBTQ community, that all those sort of things, I was a little taken back by. But as far as him talking negative about people behind their back, I'm not surprised at all about that. I mean, that is one of the reasons I called him a fraud, is because I kind of know John. I played for him. You know, he kind of talks out of both sides of his mouth. He'll tell you what he thinks you want to hear one minute and then say something different another. And then in terms of the National Football League, it's an opportunity for them to get ahead of this sort of behavior, because John Gruden's not the only one. He may be the only one that we know of as of right now that got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. But far too long, we've been dealing with this sort of behavior from white privileged people that have been empowered, that feel like that they can't be touched. And this has been the case. If you go back to John Gruden's tenure as a head coach, we won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
That's just part of an interview from Keyshawn Johnson. Remember, Keyshawn Johnson played for John Gruden the year that they won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, and basically, this is not the first time he's spoken out against Gruden. As you heard him say, he a fraud. He felt like that all along.
About him a lot too.
Yeah, he has definitely not had good opinions about him. It's just now that this has come to light, you see what he's saying. Okay, hold on. Pride, we ain't forget about, hold on, a couple things. Playing devil's advocate, I am not sure if it is in the best interest of the NFL to have these emails leaked. Of course it's not, Pride. That's why they're not doing it. That's why they haven't done it. This investigation was over months ago, sir. Yeah, they knew about these emails. Don't you know if those emails come out based on some of the stuff that was said, boom, you got yourself set up for lawsuits and protests and losing sponsors and everything. The NFL is a cash cow. They can't afford to be losing no money like that. They still trying to make up last year when they didn't get all their full profits because the league was not set up to get it because of COVID. Well, not so much last year, but the year before that. They still trying to make that money. No telling how many other powerful people from various teams are involved, since Gruden had plenty of friends. Absolutely, and that's my point, Pride. This is the old boy network in full effect, okay? Remember, Dan Snyder was asked to shift control over to his wife, okay? Remember, when things like this came out in another organization, based on the person being in charge of that organization, that team being the LA Clippers. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
To that guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind, ain't nobody trying to sell their NFL team right now. Even the Bo is NFL. Even the damn Lions worth over $2 billion if they were sold today. Ain't nobody giving up that kind of money.
No, not at all.
And the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They sure ain't trying to give up no money. Okay, hold on. Pride is also saying, and what's going on, T-Herd? Trying to say, I see y'all. There's a really good article I read, and I will send it to you. That looks like a lot of Gruden's hiring and firing practices while in the league. Off the top of my head, pretty much any minority that worked for him, he inherited from an older regime, and they were replaced right away, and usually with lesser talented or accomplished white men. And there you go. Who was in charge, the general manager, before Gruden was there? Do you recall?
Not really.
Somebody look that up, because I want to say that was a brother. I want to say
you got me interested in that.
And then also understand, he resigned, okay? Bottom line, when all this surfaced, and I promise you, if the NFL knew about it, then owner Mark Davis knew about it. And he let that man continue to coach. Because one, his father loved John Gruden. We know that.
Sir.
Two, not only did John Gruden work on that staff, but his son also worked for the organization. And 3, him and John Gruden are very close. So yeah, in an ideal world, not only did he not fire that man, he let him work his own way out. But I promise you, this year's salary, he probably still gonna make that. You know why, Hugh? You know why he's still gonna make that season as being one of the highest paid coaches in the game? You know why, Hugh?
Yes, sir.
You done got in trouble. Don't get nobody else in trouble. Shut up.
Yep, they want that. They want that seal. They gonna go like, "Hey, you took the heat. You keep your mouth shut, because if you don't, we ain't gonna keep feeding you that money."
Because I promise you, there are people out here working very feverishly to try to get that interview. John, you want to come on First Take or wherever, and talk about it? We want to hear your side of the story. You want to apologize for real? And keep in mind, they don't give a damn about him apologizing. They want to rake that fool over the coals, okay? You already know if John Gruden go on any of these shows, yeah, that's gonna be must-see TV because we all gonna want to know what, especially if it's one of those interviewers. Let Stephen A. Smith get a hold of John Gruden. Let Jim Rome get a hold of John Gruden and ask the real questions. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fireworks, baby. But you know it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen because they paying him to keep quiet. And before I go there, we got to go here. You hold on, because we starting to say some things, and I need people to understand the views and or opinions expressed here on GameTime Audible is that of the host and or guests, and does not necessarily reflect those of the Nighthawk Network or its affiliates. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. Yeah, we got to put that out there. But look here, man. Hugh, I don't know about you, but no, I'm going to ask you point blank. This has happened. We know it happened. We don't know everything that was said, but we know some stuff got said. Based on all of that, my friend, should John Gruden ever be a head coach again in the National Football League?
I absolutely think not, and I feel like his career is over as far as when it comes to sports, man. I had that discussion with a couple of coworkers at the job, man. Jim asked me, because a lot of them kind of look up to me when it comes to sports stuff and what's going on, especially with the whole John Gruden news. They looked at me and asked me the question, and I said, "No, man, Fox is not going to pick them up. No sports place going to pick them up because they don't want that backlash."
Absolutely.
I don't think they're not going to get that type of bad publicity or bad pub on their network. And I just feel like right now he's a marked man. I just feel like he better just stay, just low key, stay out of, the spotlight and just let things clear a little bit, man. I mean, people might forget that they're not going to forgive, but he can't keep constantly trying to take jobs or try to do anything or go anywhere right now. Don't try to go on Monday Night Football or anything. I don't think that revenue's open for him no more. I think once this came out and he got exposed for the bigger he is, I don't think that he's going to have no job nowhere. I don't think he's welcome.
Bottom line is he done offended every major group you do not offend. You do not offend women's rights. You do not offend the alphabet children community. You do not offend people of color. You name it, you done went there. Yeah, I think it's some emails they talked about people's weight and such not. So he done offended us big folks. So yeah, he's done, bro. He's done. And he gotta be done. And if he got any sense, if he really cares about the game of football, the NFL, then he will keep his clam shut until it's time to write that book 10 years from now, because some company is going to offer you a ton of money for your side of the story if it don't come out later on down the road.
He gonna do that Jose Canseco, boy. He gonna call out everybody. Because when Jose did have his book and he called out people and saying they were doing steroids, man, I was like, ain't no way. And everybody came out and told the true body. And I think Gruden got so much on these people now that he might be quiet as long as they feeding him that paycheck. But at the same time, when it's said and done, and when the smoke is clear, he gonna want all the smoke, and he gonna let everybody have it. He gonna have everybody lined up, and he gonna snipe them one by one and bring up who is involved.
Right, because bottom line, if they letting you take the heat, at that point you do what you do. Offending people of color and being completely canceled has yet to be determined. Pride. He done, bro. He done, bro. I know you like to look at the devil's advocate way of this one. I don't see no avenue where he's not done. Wherever you put him on at this point, whether it be as football coach, offensive coordinator, high school coach, analyst, yeah, the heat that's gonna come from that, don't nobody want that. That's just like if all of a sudden Ray Rice gained new legs and decided, yeah, I'm coming back to the NFL. I'm gonna give it one more shot. Imagine what type of confusion and mess that would cause for any team that would pick him up. It's the same case. Don't nobody want no parts of that. Nah, I don't care how bad they suck. No, it ain't worth it. Besides, he done made over $100+ million dealing with football. It ain't like he need the money. Okay, saying not talking about Gruden, but people dissing us seems to get overlooked, or a good apology can make miracles happen. In some cases, that is true, Pride. I do give you that. But bottom line is, no, this one ain't going away. Not this time.
He stacked
sadly, hey, Bebop, thank you. Sadly, a lot of people have said that in the interviews that I've seen over the course of the last few days. If it had only been the racist comment, he would still be the football coach right now of the Vegas Raiders. No doubt about that. And my hope is we need to look at the ownership of not only the Raiders, but of the Washington football team at this point. Because they both know, both of those two people knew that it went on. And for the most part, they approved that message. So you got to wonder, Mark Davis, do you feel like that about us too? Are we just your boys that you own? I definitely want somebody to stick a mic in your face and ask you some questions.
Don't run. Jerry Jones has something to do with it.
Bottom line, these owners have meetings and conversations all the time. When you watch the show The Game and they talk about that type of stuff, it goes on in real life. But yeah, they know how John Gruden felt. I promise you, some people in that ownership room knew. But yet still, the Raiders was not the only team trying to get John Gruden back in the day to coach their football team, even after all these emails came out. Washington themselves was trying to get him to be a head coach at one point. We know that. But yeah, that again, we probably could talk about this the rest of the night, but we got so much other stuff to talk about. We got to move on. So yep, on and popping. What we got next, you? We got to talk playoffs, man. MLB. You been watching them, Hugh?
Please.
Talk about it, man. Talk about it.
It's been pretty good, man, because it's like a lot of the things that you expected were unexpected, man. You know how you like, I know I got to eat these words, eat damn. I talked about it last week, man. I was like, man, Tampa gonna get y'all boys. And what I noticed was the first game always went as normal. And I'm talking about the Tampa game where they came out and they stumped the mud hole in the Red Sox. And the Red Sox, I was like, man, they might be.
Jacob is the truth. That brother is amazing.
Who you say?
Azarenka, man. The modern day Willie Mays, baby.
Man, they really have some good battles too, man. Rafael Devers, man, just you gotta respect what Boston have over there. As much as I got a nasty taste in my mouth after they beat New York, but man, it was like they lost their first game and they picked up where they left off at, man, and they won the next 3 games. If you told me they was gonna win 3 straight after losing the first game, I'd have laughed in your face. But they proved that they was the better team, man. Yeah, the Rays won 100 games, but when they get to the playoffs, they both records are 0-0. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed that series, man. And it was a shocker because I definitely thought the Rays was going to definitely advance, but I was wrong.
Man, after they beat the Yankees, I knew the Red Sox was going to get them boys a bit of a battle, but I did not expect them to beat Tampa Bay. I must admit that, especially after game one. Like I said, Azarenka went off between that monster home run and when he stole home, man. The dude stole home. Nobody steals home anymore, especially not in a playoff game, not a straight up game.
stole home and then pounded his chest like, yeah, I did that. He did it and let the world know. So yeah, it was just really good, passionate baseball on the Red Sox part, man. And they're a dangerous team right now, man. They're definitely a scary team. But I wasn't surprised with that. I kind of was a little, but not much surprised with the Astros series because I just feel like the Astros had better pitching and the bats were alive, man, finally. And yeah, man, I liked Tim Anderson and some of the guys on the White Sox. I mean, the White Sox, and I like their closer, Kimbrel, but just didn't really feel like they had enough to compete. And I wasn't surprised to see how bad they lost in that series.
I mean, bottom line, the White Sox, they were playoff worthy, but they wasn't ready for the big boys just yet. They are still an up and coming team. So would not be surprised if the White Sox win our division again next year because they got some things going on there. And remember, Toledo was hurt for part of the year. They got a couple of the phenoms that did not make it through the whole season. So they got more people. Then they got some good people in AAA they're gonna probably bring up next year. So, don't feel bad for the White Sox. They're not done. But meanwhile, remember, Houston came out with something to prove since the beginning of the season. Ever since the whole garbage can incident and whatnot, they've been determined to show people, look, we can win either way it go. We didn't have to cheat to win. We got this. Hey, Jay Mills, appreciate you. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, they got that boy Michael Brantley them over there, man. I like Brantley. I like Jose Altuve, man. That's my guy, man. And they got a nice little team over there, man. They so much remind me of the San Francisco Giants, but I think that over there with the Astros, they got a little bit more pop in their bat, man. But yeah, that'd be a good series.
They got a little bit more swagger as well. San Francisco, they kind of yeoman, let's do our job and do it well type people. Houston, they real like, look at me, we Houston, y'all. They very braggadocious with there.
I got to talk about my boys.
Everybody talking about how Correa about to be a free agent after this season.
Yeah, Carlos. Yeah.
Stupid. You is stupid if you let him go. You find that money and make it happen. He should not even be out there on the market.
He shouldn't even be in this conversation right now. He that good, man. But I don't think they're gonna let him go. But you know what though? It might be. Hey, you know how it is in the winter meetings, man. Sometimes the teams, man, because they don't got no cap. They throw so much money in your face, you can't resist, man. And then maybe
you already know the talk here is that we about to come and get Correa because he wants to hook back up with his old manager. And we definitely need a shortstop with some pop in the back, but can handle the glove, and he perfectly fits the bill. But that being said, I would not like to see the Detroit Tigers hit him with one of those Bryce Harper type of contracts, that 10-year, $400 million. No, remember, we still dealing with the whole Miggy situation from years ago. I definitely not trying to see him make that type of money, play good for like 5 years, and then we stuck with him for another 5.
Yeah, man, over with, man. You know how when A-Rod got his deal, and then you had your Albert Pujols and those guys getting those type of deals, man. We've seen at the back end of those contracts how they faded away, man. And I just don't think teams want to get stuck with those long-term contracts.
Right. It's crazy though. We got the Dodgers and we got the Giants. Remember who's on that Dodger squad. We got some of them people on their last one. The Dodger squad, actually, part of it reminds me of the Red Wings and some of those last championship years. Remember how they reached out and started to get some of the players that was on the declining end, but basically were all-stars, future Hall of Famers? They got an old boy from L.A. They got Brett Hall. They got Chelios, and brought them all together with Eisman for one last run with Fedorov and the crew. I kind of feel like that's part of what that Dodger team is made up of, with Max Scherzer and, of course, your boy Big Al and the like. So I must admit, I like the Giants as a squad, but I really do want to see the Dodgers get to that World Series team.
I want my man to get at least Scherzer, and I want Albert to get another one, man. I don't mean to kind of cut off on them. Yeah, you know, they having a good series right now, man. And hell, they playing tonight, by the way. I'm definitely hoping that they can actually pull the rabbit out the hat and beat San Fran. It's gonna be hard to beat them at home. But I would definitely be lying to you if I didn't say, you know me and you got a soft spot for the Atlanta Braves, man. And damn, man, I didn't expect that either. Definitely against the who and how heavy and how hot they were as a team coming into the playoffs.
Understand, I'm not completely surprised they made the playoffs, but when they lost Acuna Jr. earlier in the year, I thought
That was huge
right there. Remember, before he went out, he was having an MVP type season. He was getting it in. The power numbers looking good. He was stealing bases. He was playing some good defense. He was basically the juggernaut of that team. But basically, credit to one Freddie Freeman for stepping up and saying, "I'm still here, y'all. I'm the MVP. I got us." And because of that, they're where they are now.
and they needed the power in the bat of Adam Duvall, man. I thought that was a really low key, really good sneaky pickup because they needed him in that lineup, man. Because you know the Brew Crew got some serious bats, and I was just surprised. Like I wanted to talk to you about that. And I noticed that pattern on the game when I seen Boston and when I seen Atlanta. Don't you notice that they both came out and lost the first games and swept the teams after that, man? That surprised me that it happened on National League and American League. I've never seen that happen before where the team come in as underdogs, lose the first game, and go for the sweep in the series. That was impressive to me.
Right. And keep in mind, what is it nowadays about you being a big old lefty that makes you a dominant closer? You got Kimbrel, you got my man's in New York. We got
Oh yeah, Robles.
Right, we got Hader there for the Brewers here. We even got Soto here in Detroit with the big arm. But that being said, there always are those few players that it don't matter who you put out there. It don't matter if they left-handed, right-handed, they throw sidearm, underarm, they gonna hit. And Freddie Freeman is one of those people. He gonna hit regardless.
You know who Freddie Freeman remind me of, man? It seems like he brushed off the mighty bat and like just the grid of my man David Justice, man. The way he came out and playing. Definitely proud of Freeman, man, because I've always been a fan of Atlanta. But just to see how, like you said, how he stepped up, and then Adam Duvall, man, his extra bat helped out in the series, and they always have strong pitchers. So yeah, big up to Atlanta, man, because that was a team that we liked as coming up, man. You know, and seeing how good they were with their pitching staff and their players. To see them in the mix, man, I'm definitely impressed.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, as a Detroit fan, we oftentimes adopt a secondary team when our teams get to super sucking like many of ours do now. My second team was the Atlanta Braves because they had John Smoltz, who came from the Tiger organization. They had Avery that grew up here in Michigan. You know, they had several of those good players that end up being Hall of Famers in the end. So I always had a soft spot for Atlanta as far as the Braves is concerned. With that being said, I don't think they beat whoever wins between San Fran and LA.
Unfortunately, it's a Cinderella story, man. But damn, you know, whichever one, like we said, whoever wins this series, man, we know for sure they're going to go to the World Series. We're not saying that we're not going to crown them, but we definitely feel like they'll be there.
Well, keep in mind, if we get Atlanta and Boston, for instance, that ain't a bad World Series. Okay. Yeah, we get Atlanta and Houston, that'll be all right. But the World Series everybody gonna want to see, I promise you, is if we get the Dodgers against the Astros. Oh, baby. You think about it, Hugh. We all know the history.
Nasty rivalry going on, man. You know, they had a few things happen. You know,
each other, bro. They hate each other.
They felt like they cheated. They got cheated out of that one championship. The Dodgers, man, when we found out when all the truth came out with the, you know, sign stealing and them having like, you know, pieces that vibrate to let you know that what pitch is coming. It just got really technically dirty and downright gritty, nasty with the Houston organization, man, and that just didn't look good on them. And now they got a point to prove. But to see them and the Dodgers, man, in a rematch, man, I bet you it'll be some fights in that series, man. Benches get clear.
You gonna get some of everything in that series, bro. I mean, we even talking about the managers. You know, the managers don't particularly care for each other. Remember, Dusty Baker, former Dodger, who basically when it came time to get a managerial job, the Dodgers was like, we're gonna take this guy, Biff Roberts, instead. It's a lot of storylines in this thing, okay? Think about some of the people that are on that Dodger team right now. Albert Pujols, who had issues with Houston in the past, based upon they back and forth when he was in the American League West. Max Scherzer, you know that dude ain't got no love for no Houston Astros, based on what they did. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, you know the whole Altuve thing. He gonna be wanting to prove himself. Correa gonna have to say. Yeah, it's gonna be real interesting if them two teams meet. Trust and believe. You got Kelly, who was on that Boston team that played the Houston team. So there's that.
That'd be money in the bank if they could get that series to happen, man. Damn, you know how much ratings that'd go and get?
Absolutely. That would definitely be one of the better World Series in modern times, no doubt. But yeah, anyway, we got to keep it moving. You know, we still got a lot to talk about, my brother. But playoff series, and we will kind of keep you up to date on the game as it gets later in the show. So I do believe they start at 9:00 tonight. The Dodgers and the Giants. But okay, now we're ready to talk a little college football. And I do mean a little. We ain't gonna get deep into it this week because there wasn't a lot of marquee matchups last week. We had a couple upsets, but they was to be expected. You know, Iowa played Penn State. One of them had to win, one of them had to lose. It was a close game.
Good game, man. That was a good-ass game.
Yeah, but you know, bottom line, that was two good teams, and one of them had to win, and that's what happened.
Iowa just wanted it more.
Yep, plain and simple. So there's that one. I want to briefly touch on the Cincinnati Temple matchup. Of course, Cincinnati whitewashed and whooped that butt thoroughly, 52-3. And understand, it's setting up a little differently, y'all. And the reason why is not that game, but the main team that lost last week. Go on, talk about it, Hugh.
Let me take the podium, man. I got to take this one because I feel like right now.
I'm going to give you the screen for a minute. Go for it, bro.
Okay. It's definitely unfortunate because, you know, I'm a huge Bama fan, and I know people probably bash me for this, but at the same time, the passion I have for that team goes a long way because I got family roots, and I think I'm the only one in my family that didn't grow up from Alabama. So, you know, my family's strong when it comes to Bama football. And that's when I got put into it, man, and what you could say drinking the Kool-Aid. But this team definitely made me scared because I wasn't really as convinced, as I should say, as the other teams in the past. Yeah, they're going to have their growing pains. They got a lot of talent over there, but at the same time, when talent is not battle tested, that's when these issues come about. And I just feel like they shouldn't have won the game against Florida when they went on the road. I just don't feel like they can handle that road pressure. That kind of had them rattled. And to play another SEC team who actually lost 2 games, and everybody looked at them and felt like that they'll be a 20-point favor. I definitely didn't have that feeling. It was something in my gut that told me that I don't know if they could play a clean, 4 quarters of football, which they didn't. I mean, when it comes to situations, it's just basic as you can't do the center quarterback exchange. And this has been going on all season. That's when I really had issues. And I know Nick Saban is, ripping his hair out right now. I really feel very disappointed, but at the same time, I'm going to still ride with them because, I roll with them when they win, and I'm going to roll with them when they're going through these situations. But trust me, people, they will be back. Definitely is not this year. I definitely feel like Georgia's the better team and Georgia's going to be the main team, but I just don't feel like this year is their year.
You putting too much on it, bro. First of all, I understand it's Alabama. It's the factory, as I call it, and you're not used to them losing at all. I get that, okay? But understand, because they are Alabama, because they are the national champion, the reigning national champion, do understand when it comes to them in regards to the college football playoffs, as it is presently set up, they are the 1 or 2 teams that will get an extra loss in this thing, okay? If they win all the rest of their games, including the SEC championship game, they are in the playoffs. Plain, simple, flat out.
This
So
team's just not disciplined to me, E. And that's what I was talking about. Their discipline is not there, but they're going through some growing pains. I only know one of the guys technically, all honesty, too, and that's John Mechie. Don't really know too many of the other guys that's on the team. But yeah, I feel like this team gonna have a little ways to go. I give them maybe a couple 2 year span, and they'll
well,
be back.
understand, Hugh, as I said earlier in the season, and will continue to say, there is a couple X factors in this season. One, the transfer portal. And you better believe if other teams needed people to come to their school and have an impact, they most definitely was looking at any of the Alabama players that came out of the portal. And several of them entered the portal. You know how Alabama is. You get behind certain people, you ain't coming up, okay? You ain't gonna play the probably senior season if then. It's so much talent on that squad that if you are the third or fourth option, you probably will stay there. There is no way to earn your way up unless there's injury. So some of those players was like, hey, I tried it here. I'm not that guy, but I could be that guy at Tulsa. I could be that guy at Jackson State because they do have somebody from Alabama at Jackson State, by the way. I could be that guy. I mean, I do believe Michigan actually has a player that transferred from Alabama. All right, thanks, BD. Appreciate you. But yeah, that's part of what happened so far this year. And two, um, every year they're not gonna have all the 5 stars. Understand, more of the better players from the country, they did not all go to Alabama this year. Some of them went to Georgia. Some of them went to Ohio State. Some of them went out west. So I think that's part of the deal. Alabama is used to having all the cream of the crop, cream of the crop players, just like Duke and the NCAA or Kentucky. That just didn't happen this year. So they may be down slightly a notch, but you got to give Coach Saban some credit. He is a team builder, okay? Basically, you go on that squad because you have worked under Saban, that automatically puts your draft class up a couple notches. So if you are there for 2-3 years, you bound to make an impact in the draft and an impact in the NFL. This is still early on in the season, my friend. Trust me, Saban every his office not only looking at his tape, but he is definitely looking at that tape from Georgia every week. He is planning for them, just like your boy Belichick plans for people in advance that way. I promise you, when the time comes, they will be ready. They may not have the horses to pull it off, but they will be ready. And if they win that game, that puts them in the playoffs, as long as they don't lose.
That was the worst defense I've seen under Saban too, man. So they don't definitely have to work on that as well.
Understand, not necessarily worse defense, just not as good a defense as they've had in recent years. Remember, they play in the best football conference in America by far. You basically take Georgia, Florida, Missouri, any of those schools and put them in most of these other conferences, they dominate. Not just win in the conference, they dominate. That's how good some of these teams are. It's just Alabama is so much a cut above everybody else, you kind of get lost in that sometimes. They're not done, sir. They are far from done. They are definitely still the de facto number one at this point. Trust and believe. If they win all the other games, they will be either number one or number two, and they will be in the playoff. Plain and simple.
We definitely got another game to talk about too. I'm definitely excited about this one.
Who you got, Hugh? Who you got?
The Red River rivalry, man. That one was really interesting this year, man. The Oklahoma Texas game.
Man, that was a good game. But you gotta admit, Hugh, as I was, were you not shocked that they sat Rattler, they benched him, and still won?
I couldn't believe that because I thought for sure if they would have benched him, that game would have been over. It looked like it was going to be because they were getting thrashed at first. I said, damn, is this Texas year? That would have been another upset going on. It'd have been back to backs if that happened. But Yeah, man, it just took a lot of grit, man, and it took a lot of like passion, man. They just didn't give up, man. They just stuck with their, game plan and they moved forward to win that game, show perseverance and their will and their strive for to be the best and to basically keep pushing no matter what the situation was. Man, big ups to Oklahoma, man, because I definitely thought they was done by the halftime. And to pull that game out, man, that was incredible. It was like a storybook ending.
Man, I'm telling you, in the last 10 years, damn near every game Oklahoma and Texas has played in that Red River rivalry has been classics, okay? They always play each other hard. Out of all of the rivalries, probably outside of maybe, well, not in recent years, Michigan, Ohio State, or Auburn or Alabama, UCLA, USC, that's probably some of the better rivalries in football. This one definitely is right up there with all of them.
Oh, absolutely.
You got teams where they got future NFL players on there. Usually the quarterbacks are pretty good. They got some good running game. They got some excellent receivers. All that took place in this game as well. But the bottom line is Oklahoma just wanted a little bit more. And in terms of quarterback and people that are good at coaching up quarterbacks, we got to start giving this man his credit, man. Think about it. Right now, he got 3 quarterbacks in the league that's been under his tutelage. When we talk about Baker Mayfield, when we talk about I go for the names again, y'all. I swear I'm getting old. Baker Mayfield, okay. We got Hurts, and we got Kyler Murray. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are they 3 quarterbacks in the league, but they are all doing well in the league. This dude is a quarterback guru. So basically, you have determined that you are not good enough all of a sudden, and has sat you down and brought in the freshman who came in and looked phenomenal, by the way, 4-star recruit that he is. And now, of course, the quarterback controversy has begun at Oklahoma. We're not surprised if we don't see Spencer Rattler at all the rest of the season, and he let this kid finish up. Or they may pull what some of the other teams are doing, particularly Michigan, where they basically have the kid be quarterback now, or put in Spencer Rattler for special plays and whatnot, which would make them even more dangerous, I think. What do you think, Hugh?
Yeah, I definitely feel like with that whole situation with them bringing in, the freshman quarterback, man, it just basically put a lot under Rattler, man, because I like Spencer Rattler, but I just feel like it might be something that the coach feel like is missing, man. Hell, he ain't doing too bad when you got a Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts in the league. He know what he talking about definitely when it comes to quarterback. So, yeah, I want to see what the rest of the year is going to have in store for these 2 guys. And I'm going to definitely keep an eye on them because I'm definitely interested in seeing who's going to win out now or who's going to actually be the actual quarterback for that team.
Yeah, I really need Coach Lincoln Riley to start getting more of his props, man. He's doing some good stuff down there in Oklahoma. But another game I want to get into very briefly. So remember, y'all, we said from this point forward, we will always highlight one HBCU game a week. The team known as Jackson State. Are you familiar, Hugh?
Yes.
Who is the coach of that squad?
Coach Prime.
What you say now?
Coach Prime.
Yeah, you better call him coach. You heard what he said. Give him his respect.
I ain't gonna make no mistakes on that.
And ain't it interesting that he is now in those commercials with Coach Saban, by the way? Remember when he mentioned that in the press conference, like, you don't call Coach Saban Nick. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that helped him get that commercial. Just a thought. But anyway, look, Alabama A&M, okay? Alabama A&M ain't nowhere on the surface of the level of Alabama. But that being said, 61-15, that is the highest score of any HBCU this season. And remember, Prime, if he keeps this up, it's going to be very interesting because, one, remember, he has several NFL former players as his coaching staff, first of all. So they are getting some quality education in terms of football down there at Jackson State. But on the other hand, if he could keep it to where they are not only winning but dominating and become relevant and perhaps somehow manage to be ranked by the end of the year to where now he can go and recruit and bring people that normally would not go to a HBCU to a HBCU. Do you imagine what that could do for HBCU programs all across the country?
I think it's already going to do a lot, definitely with the NFL players over there and having him, prime time, one of the best guys that ever played the game. That's going to definitely help recruit some of the guys to the HBCU schools. But at the same time, to give them the discipline and to have the other guys who were NFL bound to actually teach them the way to play the game, that'll open doors for a lot of HBCU schools. And I would like to see a lot more of that. Don't get me wrong. What Marvin Lewis was doing, him and Herm Edwards over there at Arizona State, but this is more like all-black school that you're talking about, man. So that makes it even more important and more relevant to me because that's awesome to see something like that, man. And just, it'd be cool to have that option and for kids to know that they can always call one of those schools home now, except for going to these big-name schools because for sure, if you got some type of talent and you're good enough, or you're at least a 3-4 star player, you will have an opportunity to play. And
Hold on, you. We're about an hour into the show. Haven't you noticed something curiously missing from the show?
What's up? Roll.
Bro, baby.
That's something I just so happen to look at. Like, damn, I definitely Roll used to be the first person. So yeah.
I feel funny because Roll come on all the shows. I hope she all right. Somebody Roll out
too. So I'm really surprised, not to see Roll.
Roll,
Cowboys won.
If you couldn't make it for whatever reason, just know that we love you and care about you, and we missed you this week. And also shout out to my cousin, Fayetteville. I don't know what up, bro. I don't know what went on, fam, where you don't show us no love no more. Hit me up, baby. But anyway, that's pretty much it for our college talk this week. Do we commercial yet, Hugh, or should we keep it going, bro? You tell me.
You know what? We can hit a quick commercial.
Yeah, because my mouth getting a little dry. Time for a water break. But when we come back, WNBA. We still got some boxing to talk about. I even got a little Tiger Woods update for y'all. So when we get back to all that, and of course we're gonna talk NFL and a little NBA. We got to talk about a couple of these characters, man. Particularly one Kyrie Irving and one Ben Simmons. Young men, what are you doing? But anyway, we will be back. This is GameTime Audible. That's that dude Hugh Lee. I'm that dude EB. That's my peoples on Bigo. And this is the Audible interlude. Check it out. All right, y'all. GameTime Audible is back. And guess who
Here,
else is back?
here, E.
Bro!
Bro, was
We,
good.
we was just talking about you, bro. Like, what happened to you, baby? We was worried. But yeah, okay, we see you had some Wi-Fi issues. That's cool. We just glad you all right.
Most definitely. You know, you had us worried there for a minute, bro.
Okay, she said she been here the whole time. Watch through the TV. Okay, bro. We knew someone, right? You didn't pop in the building. Yeah, you don't check in. I'd be scared then.
I knew something was up. I'm like the Cowboys and the Steelers won, you know. So
Yeah, we thought hell was freezing over. Sure. But yeah, yo, okay, so we back. Shout out to Black Velvet in the building as well. What else, Velvet? She usually been checking in on the show every week. Appreciate
that's
you.
a smooth name. Smooth name.
Right on, right on. But okay, we're gonna talk a little WNBA. Now, first, before we get into the actual playoffs, there's a story that has developed over the last couple of weeks involving the Atlanta Dream. Now, if I would have had the time, I would have actually posted the video. But basically, I'm gonna have you talk about it for a minute, and I'm gonna see if I can post the link right quick. So yeah, go ahead, do that, Hugh.
That's pretty crazy to see that video, man. When you showed it to me, I was kind of disappointed that they had that beef that they had, man. You know, to just actually have it in a public place too. And the altercation went on for a good 2 minutes, man, for everybody to see the three women all got into a fight and was kicked off of the team. And it's unfortunate, man. But at the same time, too, he not trying to be dirty or spit no venom on that, man. That's an 8-24 team. So what do you expect from a team who struggled like that? But just as professionals, man, that made me feel bad because most of them were black females into the incident. So I just wanted a little better from them, man. You know, to just be better role models on and off the court. Unfortunately, things like that happen. You know, I don't know if it was bad blood or what really happened, but a lot of that stuff had to boil down either where those ladies definitely had some type of history for it to get that bad and be actual public altercation like that.
All right. Well, basically, anybody that's curious, you can look at that YouTube link that I sent in regards to the incident. But what it boiled down to was these ladies had beef with each other for quite some time now. It is said that part of the issue is some situation going on with previous or present girlfriends and whatnot, and they basically was fighting over the same broad, and it got to that point, and then people chose sides. It's just one of several things that apparently went on in the locker room and beyond for the Atlanta Dream. They basically said that the environment there was not good. For most of the season, Atlanta Dream did not have a definite head coach. They had like interim people in charge, and part of that came into play. Also, there is Kennedy Carter, the former Texas A&M standout, who was a member of that team, who basically got at one point suspended from that team and did not play most of the year because of said suspension. It basically said it was from some type of behavior issue that she was having with members of the squad. They say that kind of dates back to her Texas A&M days. Remember, she was a student who actually used a new rule in the NCAA women's, where if you graduate with your class, you can leave school early. Remember, most of the women only were able to leave school after doing their 4 years of eligibility for the women's WNCAA, but no longer the case. Now, basically, if you finish your graduating class, in other words, if you graduate early, they allow you to leave early, and she is one person that took advantage of that because partially some of the stuff that went on with her at Texas A&M. But all that being said is, yeah, apparently there was a lot going on that team, period. 2 of the 3 people involved in that altercation, they are no longer with the team. One was just waived outright. The other one was released. And you wonder if that's going to affect their future WNBA career. Keep in mind that there are only so many teams in the league, and there's only so many spots to be had. If you are a person that's going to cause a disturbance in the locker room based on your reactions to stuff, you probably would not be as welcome. What's your thoughts, Hugh?
Yeah, that's really, and like you said, it's not really that many teams, man. They're trying to do better as far as make financial, ends, to compete with, I don't know if they'll ever make as much money as the NBA players, but at the same time, they're trying to get their, actual WNBA moving in the right direction. They're definitely trying to give ladies more money with incentives, man. But a lot of these incidents are really there too. Flying too, because I haven't really heard of an incident like that in a while. Besides the time when Brittany Griner and her girlfriend,
Right.
that was crazy. That was so publicly known, and yeah, but it hasn't really been too much, man. So it's a shame as a company and like the WNBA.
That, that was probably as crazy as any of the NBA stories you ever heard. I mean,
That was
remember,
crazy. In the NFL story I heard.
Brittany and her was married. Remember that. They was
Yeah.
married. It was on the same team. It involved infidelity and having a child outside of the relationship. Keep in mind that Brittany has definitely been out there for a while as a person who is one of the alphabet children, as basically someone who dates ladies and whatnot. But the problem is that when that lady goes and dates someone who's not a lady and have a kid with her, there's something entirely different. All right. Prior to saying, funny y'all bring this up because we were discussing this on another Nighthawk Network platform, and I got jumped. They were blaming the NBA and crying that it was a double standard on their punishments. No, my friend, you did not get jumped, and we know what you speak of. We were never supposed to talk about the incident, sir. Yeah, I know what you're saying on that. That was a whole nother story. Let's not rehash that. As we know, for us, the insiders of the Nighthawk Network, that led to the worst time ever in the Nighthawk Network. We are not going to relive that pride. Shame on
We're gonna definitely pause that.
man. You try to get my blood pressure up right now. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, though, bro.
On the network.
It almost was no Nighthawk Network baked on that, but that's a whole nother story. When we do the behind the music and all of that later on, years later, we'll have that discussion. But Stretch Limo in the building and Miss Sherry. Not that one. I'm talking about this one here a couple nights ago. Oh, okay. Well, that's another story. But yeah, bottom line is with the pain comes the growth. And remember, I've been talking about how the WNBA needs to do things to transform itself and be a better league. We actually gonna get into that more in depthly next week, and as is what I think the WNBA needs to do to grow as a league. But right now they are in the thick of the playoffs. They in fact are in the WNBA finals, and I want to talk about that. But before we go there, I got to talk about how these two teams got there. That being the Chicago Sky and the Phoenix Mercury. First of all, the Chicago Sky, they weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs, okay? They were the worst ranked team in the playoffs when the playoffs began. They, in fact, I believe, weren't even at 500 as a playoff team. But because there's only so many teams in the league and they were like right there, they got in, and now here they are in the finals, just as they was playing by one hometown girl, Candace Parker. What's your thoughts, Hugh?
That's incredible, man. Of what they went through and adversity for them to be in the finals and one game up two. Come on, E man. You never thought that'd happen, man. That almost reminded me of the time, even though they didn't make it far, when the Seahawks beat New Orleans Saints and nobody had no win in that game neither. And that's when the beast mode era began. But now you're talking about the team who's going to believe now. God going to believe. And that's why I think they're doing so well now, because they believe that they can win against any team, any lineup, anybody, no matter who it is, man. And when you get that type of faith and they talk and you guys feel it, that camaraderie as a team, man, you can go places, man. And I think, no pun intended, the sky is the limit for this team, man. Because I love Phoenix, man. And we talked about the game, and I told you, I definitely appreciate you telling me you chill and watch a game and check it out, man, to see how it was. Man, that was one of the best games I've seen in any college, NBA, or any other sport, man. It was so good, man.
Told you.
It caught me off guard, man. And then I seen a couple of my homegirls in there, like Cambridge and, Griner and my girl, Tarasi. Oh, man, it was out of Diggins. They really went at it, man.
Before you jump the gun on that fact, and I still want to talk about Chicago for a brief moment. Remember, Candace Parker was with the LA Sparks. She decided to leave LA. You know, they was all but ready to keep her. Remember, Candace Parker is the highest paid player in the WNBA. But she asked to be traded to Chicago because that's where she is from. That is her hometown. Understand. It's a move similar to what Dwayne Wade when he went back home to Chicago. But understand, if she manages to pull off this upset, because it will be an upset if the Sky wins the WNBA championship, she will be a legend beyond legend in Chicago. They may actually even put a statue right next to Michael's over there. It will be on that level for the Chicago people. But on the other hand, we do got the Aces and the Mercury. Remember, the Aces were in the WNBA finals last year. So it wasn't no surprise that they made it to that far in the semifinals. But the Mercury, they was banged up most of last year during the bubble. Taurasi was out most of that season. Brittany Griner missed a good part of that season with injuries. Bonner basically was on her way down, basically headed out. But they had a strong squad even then. They only strengthened it more this year when they added people like Skylar Diggins Smith, and they added Kia Nurse, former UConn great. They added Hartley, also from UConn. A lot of UConn on that squad, y'all. But nonetheless, that made them better defensively, and it also gave them several people that could handle the basketball and score, and all that came into play in that last game. That game 5 between the Mercury and the Aces. That was perhaps one of the 5 best WNBA games I ever saw, period.
Glad to witness that one.
I mean, you got probably at least 10 or 11 future Hall of Famers in that game. When you look at Taurasi, Griner, Smith, on the other side, you got Asia, you got Cambridge, you got Chelsea Gray, who's already won like 2 or 3 championships with the Sparks. You got several people on both of those squads that are definitely the best of the best in terms of WNBA ever. Remember, between Taurasi and alone, you got the all-time leading scorer and the second all-time leading blocker in WNBA history. Not to mention the person with the most dunks when it comes to Brittany Griner.
Man, I definitely enjoy seeing that, man. As far as I just had to say, you know what? Let me check them out, and see what they about. And them girls was about it, man. It was just really, it was so much guts with Rossi, man, with all she going through, man. She shouldn't even be playing right now. But she still made a valid effort, man.
They said that wheel of hers, that bad ankle was real bad. And more than likely, when the season is over, she's probably going to need surgery. Also, remember, Diana Taurasi is 39 years of age. That's ancient in most basketball circles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, we talk about a woman that has won 5 Olympic gold medals, folks. 5 of them. And between her and Sue Bird, they are WNBA super.
They saying them two some of the best 2 that came out, or the best 2 that played the game ever.
In terms of top women's players of all time, I definitely would say Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi are 2 of the top 10 ever.
Yeah, I can definitely see those efforts.
And remember, they actually beat the WNBA champions Seattle Storm to get to this playoff. They beat them in the second round, and that's part of what I kind of don't like about how the WNBA playoff format is set up, where they basically got the first 2 rounds. That is a 1-game winner take all, and then they get into the other rounds of the 3 and the 5. I kind of don't like that part of it. But I do like the fact that after each round, they reformulate, and then basically the top team plays the bottom team, and so on and so forth. But that
anybody can pop if it's like that format. Anybody can get caught slipping on a bad day. So yeah, at least make it 3 games.
I mean, because in the end, right now we do have the number 5 and number 6 playoff spot teams playing in the final. So it's something said about that. Basically, if you look at any other sport, these would be the wild card teams playing in the final. So there's that. Look who has popped in the building. H2 in the building.
She started talking about the cowboy. That's why she popped up.
Yeah, we will get there. We will get there. But yeah, for those of you that get the opportunity, please check out the WNBA Finals. If you basically want to see it at its highest level, if you basically want to start becoming a fan of the game, or you could be like Prad, who basically probably tuned us out since we started talking this whole part of the conversation. You can do that. But I really would encourage you guys to support the women's sports. That is part of what we do here on the Nighthawk Network. It is very necessary. But yeah, we will definitely talk more about WNBA next week. In the meanwhile, we got to talk a couple other little small things. Hugh, it's that time of the show when I ask you. The NHL started last night, Hugh. Do you care?
I knew it started because one of my homegirls, Angela, and my other girl, Ashley, was all hype and they had all their hockey stuff on, like their masks and shirts and everything. But other than that, nah.
Well, see, normally, this is the part of the show where I agree with you, but not this time. This time, you should care a little bit.
Not a little bit.
Pride said, I'm still on board, but just can't get into the Pride. I'm trying to work with you, bro. I'm trying to work with you, man. I'm telling you. I swear, one night we need to sit down and watch it all together, and I'll break it down. Maybe you'll understand a little better. But no, you definitely want to check out our conversation next week about what we can do to make the WNBA better. I think you will agree with a lot of what I got to say, Brad. LOL. I guess talking about that hockey. But no, this is why you should care, folks. This year, the NHL is featuring a new team. The name of that team is the Seattle Kraken. So already in Seattle, there is the Unleash the Kraken chants going on as they did in the preseason. Now, the reason why we should care about the Seattle Kraken is this. They are the newest member of the NHL. Seattle is a very good sports market. However, they keep losing their teams. And we need for this team to be successful, just like the Las Vegas Knights have been successful. Hell, they went to the NHL Finals already. And only been a team for about 5 years. Understand, part of why we need this to work is because, one, if you want to expand not only this league, the NHL, but any of the other leagues, we need teams like this to be successful. No, H2, I said Kraken, not crackheads, you knucklehead.
I said the Titans cracking.
We want Seattle Kraken to be good. Understand, I think we'll get a feel for what it will be like on the 23rd of this month when the Kraken have their first home game. If it is anything like when the Seattle Seahawks play and number 12 comes out in full effect in Seattle, if they get that type of following for the Kraken, do you realize how good that would be for the NHL?
They shouldn't have never got rid of the Seattle Supersonics. No disrespect to the Thunder, but still, man, like I really like that team and that franchise, man, and what they had going. I was just surprised to see that they didn't even consider bringing back a team to Seattle.
But see, understand, Oklahoma City has a stake in this as well because remember, they moved down there from Seattle to Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma City has shown that it is a very good market in terms of supporting their team. You've seen the home games for Oklahoma City, especially when they were going to the playoffs. That boy was off the chain. They love the Thunder down there. They living like kings. So for places like Green Bay and Sacramento and places like that, you want these teams to succeed because ultimately, if you're trying to grow as a sports city, you want to have the opportunity to eventually get a franchise in either the NHL or the NFL or the NBA. All these leagues are looking to expand at some point. We ain't talked about as much the last few years because of the pandemic. And we only got so much money to go around. But it's the reason why we got games in London and down in Mexico City. You know they want to expand these leagues. Not only the NFL, but the NBA as well. The fans don't sit down until the Thunder make the first basket, regardless of how long it takes, which is dope. Same is true of my Yukon Lady Huskies. They do that also. You know, I had to find a way to throw them in there. You know that, right?
Better chill, you losing pride.
I promise y'all, them Huskies gonna be something to mess with this year. Yeah, I actually was able to watch some of the practice. How did I do that? I'll tell you off the air here. But yeah, remember, the Yukon Husky team will tell you all the time their practices are harder than any game that they play throughout the season. If you saw what I saw you would understand why. They be going at it, Jack. I'm talking about a pickup game on super steroids, okay? When the best of the best is playing, I mean, it's team. Bottom line is they second squad will probably beat most of the girls in the NCAA right now. That's how deep they bench could be this year if Gino lets them play. You know how you feel about people coming off the bench. But they got that good a squad this year. Anyway, I move on. I digress. Yeah, so let's cheer for the Kraken, y'all. If you want to have the leagues expand and go to some of the areas where they don't have teams, if you want to have Baltimore have a hockey team, for example, you want teams like the Kraken to do well, okay? We will leave it at that. Exactly why I can't get into women's basketball. Pride, you suck, bro. You suck. You ain't trying hard enough, bro. Support our fellow ladies, man. Support them, bro. Show the ladies some love. I promise you, Pride, we're going to sit down and watch a game one day. Me and you, okay? Let's make that happen. Anyway, before we move on, because you know we cannot do this show this week without discussing that fight. You know we got to talk the fight. Look at it. Yes, you do, H2. You got to have some team that's going to win something. They'll be better than them damn Oreos. Did I say that? My bad.
You just got zinged.
Cut him a little bit. Cut him. My bad, H2. That was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
I'm behaving over here. That was E this time.
I'm sorry, bro. The Baltimore Blast. Thank you. Okay, so anyway, before we go there, some quick news. Recently, there has been a sighting of one Eldred Tiger Woods. He was recently sighted at his son's golf tournament. First of all, don't you find it interesting that his son is playing golf on that type of level, Hugh, where he's doing tournaments?
Oh, you know, he's trying to get his son ready, boy. He's trying to pass that torch.
Tiger Woods all over again, perhaps. But the good news is when he was seen, he was walking, not in a walking boot, not with a walking cane, not with a walker. He was walking and relatively normal, maybe a little slow, but walking. And they had a chance to talk to him. They asked him, what's going on, how you feel? He says he feels good. Rehab's going well. And there is a plan in place for him to return to professional golf. Now, that being said, Hugh, do you see him possibly playing next year in a tournament?
I could definitely possibly do that. As hard as he work and train and lift and, you know, how he's disciplined and he does a lot, man. His training is impeccable. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Understand, folks, that, yeah, because he may not qualify for certain tournaments, maybe not some of those, but remember, when you win things like the I think I need to get my head checked, y'all. The Masters. When you win things, I swear you, I don't be mean to do this, but like I'll have it in my head, but when it's time to say it, they be like, yeah, when you win the Masters, you have a lifetime exemption, so you will automatically qualify for that regardless. Thank you, H2. But also remember, here's Tiger Woods. There are tournaments that pay him just to show up and play. If he says, I'm ready to play, I promise you they will pay him. You know why? Because when Tiger Woods is in the building, money with him. Remember, we definitely were trying to get him to play at the Golf Classic here in Detroit, the Rocket Mortgage Golf Classic. You know, him and Dan Gilbert are good friends. If he gets well enough to where he could play in that tournament in July, Lord knows if that's the first tournament he plays in since he's been back, oh, Detroit gonna be off the chain that weekend. So I'm really pulling for him to come back then. But bottom line, I definitely see him playing next year if he is able, and if he actually wins a tournament. More important, if he actually wins a master tournament, one of the big ones, the U.S. Open, the PGA Championship, the Masters, the Open, also known as the British Open. If he wins any of those, after all he has been through, do you understand what type of story that will be? There will definitely be a Tiger Woods movie if he pulls that off. Not to mention the endorsement deals he will get from airbag companies, rehab places. The sky's the limit.
I like that one, H2. Yeah.
Some of them. All right. You got that's the payback. Oh, look who's here. G-Ma, what's going on, G-Ma? Check it into the show. Shout out to G-Ma, also known as Miss Nelson. So glad you came through. What's going on, Queen B? Coco TT. Thank you for the gifts, Queen B. Appreciate you. Yeah, we got a lot of people checking in the show right now. That's what's up. But yeah, man. Okay, let's move on. Good luck, Tiger Woods. Keep the party going. We got to talk about the fight, baby. The fight. Wilder, Fury 3. Hugh. What did you see, man? What did you think?
What did I think is Tuscaloosa, Alabama took 2 L's that night. You know, it wasn't that long ago that Alabama lost that game. And my man Dante Wilder took a L. He didn't do too bad. He actually fought a hell of a fight, man. At one point, I felt like Wilder, when he was fighting Fury, the bell saved Fury one of those rounds because he knocked Fury down twice, and then at the end of one round, he had a flurry of hits, and the only thing that kept Fury available was the fact that bell rung. But then, you know, speaking of, let's get back to the topic in hand. I just felt like Fury wanted it more because they both looked like they were gassed, but Fury came with a little bit more extra, and his hits was a lot more extra too. He was the bigger fighter and was able to land more hits than Wilder. It seemed like Wilder was gassed and he didn't even throw as many hits. So yeah, that was a shocker, man. It was like Wilder threw like maybe 56 hits to his 118. You know, so yeah, that kind of surprised me. But then I heard too, I don't know how real it is. It seems like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, every time Dante Wilder fight happened, there's always something. The whole thing about the gear weighing him down and made him tired. And now I heard rumors that he broke his hand, and that's why he couldn't come with the big, right that he normally lands. So I'm like, yeah, I definitely heard about that. And I'm like, well, okay, well, why all this stuff comes out after the fight, That's the one thing I didn't get. But yeah, I just felt like it was not that bad of a fight. It just felt like Fury wanted it more, man. And the proof was in the way he performed.
Okay. I got to give you the whole breakdown. But when you say Fury wanted it more, I disagree. I think Dante wanted more. He just wasn't as prepared. Let's break it down. First of all, I go back to the before fight when they did the weigh-in. Deontay Wilder comes in. You see him. He in shape, baby. The arms is cut up. Nice and buff. He done gained a few extra pounds. It's all looking muscly. He done gained some leg strength and all of that. He weighs in about 239, okay? It's all solid. All 6'7". He looking good. Tyson Fury then comes in. He is fully dressed, okay? He does his way in a tank top and some shorts and look like a vest. So, of course, he weighs in at 272 pounds. But was it 272? We don't know because he got all that extra clothing on. Keep in mind, this is super heavyweight. So, as long as you weigh over 200 something, it don't matter how much over it is. He could have weighed 400 pounds. It wouldn't have mattered. But the thing was, he looked sloppy. The arms looked like he had did a little work, but he looked sloppy. He looked like he was eating a couple extra donuts and crumpets. But that being said, he was talking mess the whole conference. Yeah, boy, I'm going to tear you up. You ain't going to win the first time. Bleepity, bleep, bleep, bleep. Meanwhile, Wilder's like, yeah, okay, we'll see. I already know what it is. You getting it this time, bro. You got to be perfect for 12 rounds. Only got to be perfect for 2 seconds. Remember that? Remember that commercial, Hugh?
Yeah.
We get the fight. First round, they're filling each other out. I was encouraged because Deontay was throwing the jab a little more. It like he had worked on a couple things in the gym. Second round came, he started slobber knocking old boy, okay? But then old boy caught him. He went down. Got back up. He was wobbly, though. Tyson Fury could have ended the fight then. I promise you he could have. But he somehow managed to get out of that round. Round 3, he got him with a couple good shots, had him on the ropes. Now, round 4, he summoned something within himself. And he got that opportunity. Tyson got a little sloppy. So he got caught with a couple of them bombs. And the one bomb knocked him down. Okay? Fury was down. He got right on up. At that point, I'm like, uh-oh. Arm squad didn't work, homie. You in trouble. But then he knocked him down the second time. Now, the controversy that you're not hearing, Hugh, but they are talking about in certain places that second knockdown of Tyson Fury, they say he did not beat that 10 count. If you look at the actual timer of the fight, Tyson Fury was down about 12 seconds before he got up. So they're saying that he should not have been able to win that fight at that point. But understand, it is not unusual for referees to give you a couple extra seconds because they're not looking at that clock on the side of them. They're basing it on what the clock is in their head. Remember the Buster Douglas-Mike Tyson fight from years ago when Mike actually knocked down Buster Douglas the round before. And he didn't beat the 10 count. But then the next round, Buster knocked him out. Remember that? Just thought through the show. I appreciate that, Queen B. Thank you very much. What's up, family? Okay. Let's see who's checking in. But yeah, people, what happened was, okay, Coach V in the house. What up, Coach V? What's good, baby? But yeah, basically after that, it was all Fury, boy. When he got up that second time and the rest of the fight, he was dominating, okay? He was hitting with jabs and hooks and whatnot. Basically, all you seen from Fury was, I mean, you actually see him like shake, swing, geared up, swing. If Fury wanted to, he could have knocked him out anytime after that 4th round. Dude was on his deathbed damn near in the ring, it seemed like. I mean, he was hitting with shots that most other fighters would have been knocked smooth the hell out with. Now I'm talking about Fury hitting Wilder. He was hitting real. I mean, if you hear the audio from that fight, you just hear a poof, poof. He was getting tagged. I cannot believe that fight went as long as it did. But when he finally knocked him out, that shot he hit him with in the ear, and clearly that was something that was a thought process. You notice that anytime that Wilder got knocked down, it was getting hit right there in that ear area. Remember the second fight when he had the ear bleeding and he kept tagging him there. There was something to that because they noticed that threw off his equilibrium. That made him basically go more toward that power hand and put that left hand down. you notice later on in that fight, them hands kept dropping, bro. That's why Fury is just tagging him. I think at that point,
yes, and the worst thing he was doing too was ducking down and getting hit with the uppercut. The uppercuts was waking him up when he was whenever he bent down and got hit with them uppercuts. It seemed like that woke Deontay Wilder up, man, because I just felt like I didn't know about the part where you said the whole part about my man didn't make it up after the count after the second knockdown. But
yeah,
it just
I showed you the video. I posted the link. Check it out.
because he seemed like, man, he was gassed too, man. They both were gassed, but it was just he hit Wilder so hard to one point where he fell to the ground. I said, damn, he shouldn't try to get back up. And when he finally got back up, and then he got hit again.
Time, people. Time. Hold on. We got to get into this right here. Coach V is saying tomorrow I'll be headed out to Knoxville, Tennessee for a head coaching job at this high school. And from there, I'm headed to Georgia. Are you headed to Georgia for a coach job or are you going to see your family, Coach V? But yeah, definitely y'all put the hand in front of that hand and prayers up for Coach V. I definitely hope you are able to get that job in Knoxville. Of course, we will miss you, bro. But I know a head coaching job is definitely what you want. So we pray that you do get it in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Yeah, you're going to see the family in Georgia. Okay, we got you. Okay, Pride is saying before we move on, Wilder looked incredible, but I have to wonder about his trainers and his cardio. Excellent, Pride. Fury looked chubby. Looked chubby hell. He was chubby and overweight, but those hits wore Wilder out. Wilder at like 170 blows to like 70 or so. Yeah, it was definitely along those lines. But yeah, Fury, remember, this fight is 15 months in the making. No way either one of them dudes was supposed to come to the fight less than 100%. As crazy as it is, you really got to consider that if Fury would have came in the type of shape that Wilder was in, that fight probably wouldn't even made it past the second round. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they both look like they were just gassed, man. Like they just wasn't training or prepared to fight. Like they
Fury
to the last minute.
Fury definitely had more energy than Wilder, no doubt about it.
That's what really surprised me.
That dude was out. I mean, bottom line, credit to both of them, okay? For boxing. I mean, bottom line, Coach B said heavyweight. But that being said, that's definitely one of the better heavyweight fights I have seen, Coach. I gotta say that. You gotta say that. It had a little bit of everything. You had both fighters getting it in. You had both fighters getting knocked down and getting back up. We had knockouts. We had controversy. And then the end was wrong, okay? Deontay, I understand there was a lot of bad blood and whatnot. He's saying not. Yeah, I understand there's a lot of bad blood and whatnot between you, but in the end, y'all were two men that fought like men. You were supposed to give that man his respect, okay? You didn't have to deal with it the way you did at the end of the fight. I did not like that. And now here you coming with all these excuses. You broke your hand. You broke your hand on Tyson Fury. You was hitting him with all your might, bro. I promise you was. You was hitting him with all the bombs you hit everybody else with. The difference is them bombs wasn't affecting Tyson Fury. That man was stronger than you gave him credit for, okay? Bottom line is he is the heavyweight champ. And I don't care whether it's Joshua or Usyk that wins that rematch that they're doing later on in the year. Whoever the winner is will probably fight Tyson Fury, and they probably going to get their butt thoroughly beat. And once that happens, I'm Tyson Fury. At that point, I'm 36 years old. I'd have made a ton of money. I'm riding off to the sunset. And then, on top of everything else, the end of the fight, Tyson Fury thanks God and all of that, which you got to appreciate. Kind of hard not to like a dude on that level. But then he breaks out singing, and dude actually good. Dude can sing.
Man, I ain't seen that.
Again, watch the video, y'all. It shows the whole scenario. But when I say dude can sing, I'm not talking about he could hit a few notes like me on rare occasions. I'm saying dude can sing, be on somebody's album, work with Taylor Swift or somebody like that. He can sing on that level. Would not be surprised if he came out with an album. Or, of course, go back to the WWE at some point. I definitely see him doing that at some point. But bottom line, after he wins that last fight, I'd be done. You hear me? Best foreign singer I've heard since Nikolai Volkov. And there he is, of course, throwing the wrestling talk in there. Well, we only got about 20 minutes, but we're going to quickly talk about wrestling. Okay. You do realize that the championship match that they are setting up between the man, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks, and, of course, the EST of the WWE, it's already set up, y'all, okay? Either it's going to be a disqualification and Becky Lynch is going to retain the belt, or one person going to screw the other person and Becky Lynch is going to win the belt. I will be stunned if either Sasha Banks or Bianca Belair wins that title. Reason being is because we all know what we're setting up for. In the end, look out either for Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, or at one of those three events, probably sooner than later, the real champion will be back in the WWE in terms of the women. You know who that is, you.
Who's Awesome Kong?
No. Ronda Rousey, baby.
Remember, oh, dang. She's been out for a long time.
She left for the same reason that the man left, to go have a baby. She about to have said baby.
She did have a baby with Mark Brown.
A few months from now, I definitely see a scenario where there's the man in a match, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, on some Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, here comes Ronda Rousey talking about. And whenever that happens and they fight, that's when she's going to get the belt back. I already know it's going to go down like that. Ain't no doubt in my mind. Rousey was horrible. They could keep paying her to stay at home. In terms of her wrestling skills, agree. But in terms of her impact and what she brought to the table, in terms of the hype meter and all that, yeah. She brought people to the WWE because they wanted to see just how tough she was going to be with folks. So, yeah, I put 20 on it right now. Ronda Rousey coming back, and she's going to be the champion again. The only way it don't go down the way I just described is if in the end they have her get the other belt instead. Felicia talking about, oh, please. What you mean, oh, please, Fee? You don't agree with me? What you think, Q? Am I on some BS, man?
You know what? Rousey, like you said, she brought a lot of fans and, from a different crowd, but wrestling-wise, man, I don't really see her really being, I hope that she have a higher ceiling than what she have right now. But basically, yeah, right now, to me, she's just a name.
All righty. Well, that being said, one last thing before I go. Goldberg, sit your old ass down. I don't want to see you no more. You are not that Goldberg anymore. Sit down, stay down. Stop stepping in the wrestling ring. You're a Hall of Famer, leave it at that. And at the edge,
somebody grandpa who will beat your ass, though.
And at the edge, get through with Seth Rollins, you can take him with you. Look, Felicia talking about leave Goldberg alone. I love Goldberg. That was my guy back then. Look at this one. He's still sexy. Goldberg will beat it up. He will beat it up. You ain't ready. You ain't ready for all that, man. Ringer fans, not so sure, but bringing attention, I would give Rousey that much. But I think that is a good call for WrestleMania. Yep. I definitely see that being one of the matches. Greenberg was garbage then, now forever. Oh my.
I agree with you on that, P.
Now agreed. Then don't make me have to pull out the archives on you, Pride.
Not in this
today. Bottom line, if you think Goldberg was trash, then Hulk Hogan was definitely trash. Goldberg was definitely a better wrestler than Hulk Hogan. I will give him that. No, he was not Pride, says H2. And Felicia said, leave Goldberg alone. You in the minority, Pride. But you do like to keep it controversial sometimes, my brother, so I understand. Talking about Greenberg. Not true at all, kid. Okay. We got to move on. We ain't going to let you jack the show proud with the rest of the talk. We gave you your few minutes, bruh. You got to wait till next week now. Okay. So we done talked about everything except NFL and NBA. So, yeah, Pride, I know you're here for that. Hold on. Hogan found out how to not take bumps and get over, but was still trash as well. Yeah. Wrestling-wise, Hogan was, but bottom line, he was one of the better hype men of all time. That is what made Hulk Hogan Hulk Hogan. Between the prayers and the vitamins, brother. Remember, I said one of the best hype men, but not the best. When it came to hyping up the match, it's these three for me, okay? You got to go with, of course, the Nature Boy. You got to go with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And you got to go with my man, the Macho Man. When they hyped up the match, you was ready. When they got to talk like, yeah, let's go get him, y'all. Ooh, yeah, but the beat his ass. Let's go. Hulk Hogan was an entertainer, plain and simple. Absolutely, H2. But okay, let's move on. Let's move on. All right, Hugh. Here we go. NBA. Kyrie Irving. Go.
Kyrie Irving, man. His beliefs, I understand that, and I can respect his beliefs, but his beliefs ain't gonna pay the bills right now, man. You either gonna take the vaccine or stay home, man. And ain't no other in between options. It's not looking good so far, so good, man. Making that type of money, man. You don't hit me anytime you want me to, man. I'll take it. Because that's messing up.
What we're talking about, folks. We're not talking about Kyrie's religious beliefs. We're talking about Kyrie's personal religious beliefs, okay? He is not the only person in the NBA that has chosen not to be vaccinated, but he is the most highly profiled of said people. We got two rules of thoughts right now. Kyrie thinks he is the smartest person in the building in terms of this whole vaccination thing. Understand, we don't know his full thoughts about it because he's never came out publicly and fully expressed why he has chosen not to take the vaccine. For all we know, he may have. If he had, it'd be stupid to keep it a secret at this point. It's costing you big time money. But in the same token, we didn't already figured out over the years that Uncle Drew is kind of a weird bird, okay? Kind of an odd duck. Remember, the man believes that the world is flat, okay? He still believes that the earth is flat. Anybody that believes that I have issue with off rip, you're either too smart for your own good or you just straight up cray-cray. But that being said, most of people's issue with Kyrie is that, one, your whole team has been vaccinated except you. And you want to hold everybody up to accommodate you. I don't know why it took so damn long, but the Brooklyn Nets finally came out today and said, Kyrie, you cannot come back until you are a full participant. There will be no, you will only play when we don't play in LA or New York. There will not be no, okay, we'll practice outside or somewhere else beyond New York to accommodate you. There will be no more of that. Reason being, Hugh, is Kyrie Irving one of the top 10 players in the NBA?
I can say so.
I disagree. He is not. Is he one of the top 25 players in the NBA? I give him that on the fringe. He is definitely between 15 and 25. So that is why we even having this discussion. Like I said, there are other players in the league that have chosen not to be vaccinated. Guess what? We're not talking about them. The only person we're talking about now is you, because you are seen as a key building block for Brooklyn to make it to the title. And right now, you are costing yourself and your teammates that opportunity by choosing not to be vaccinated. Now, bottom line, as I've always said, will continue to say, I am not going to advocate telling everybody you need to take that vaccine, period. You are allowed to make your choice. However, when those choices affect me or the people around me, I am allowed to at that point say, I don't want you around me if you're not vaccinated. I have issues. Understand there are friends of mine, close friends of mine, that are not vaccinated. I love them dearly. And yes, I do spend some time with them. But in the same token, I'm always mindful of that fact at this point in time that they are not vaccinated. If I am a player on that team, I do not have to want to worry about the only person not vaccinated in the room. Because when I say the Brooklyn Nets are all vaccinated, according to my understanding, everybody in the organization has been vaccinated with the exception of one, Kyrie Irving. And of course, every time we play, they're going to ask you about it. Every time we not playing, they're going to ask you about it. When you ain't around, they're going to ask me about it. Did you not see that interview with Mr. Harden the other day? He tired of talking about this shit. Don't make Harden man, make him want to leave and not sign that extension. Then y'all won't be winning nothing in Brooklyn. And you best believe if Harden leave, my man's is right behind. They up out of it. You do not want that. So bottom line is, every game you miss, my friend, you are missing out on $338,000. Again, $338,000 a game. Kyrie Irving gets paid to play the game of basketball. Huge. You get your taxes done. You do your taxes, right?
Yes, sir.
You familiar with your numbers, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna safely assume, Hugh, not even knowing your numbers, it probably take you about 10 years to make $338,000 in one time, right?
Yeah, in one swoop, possibly. Yes.
Based on my taxes, it took me about 7.5 to make that much money. He's making that in one game, in one 3-hour game. By the end of the year, he's been paid over 25 million plus. I would never see that in my lifetime. Most of the people that walk into that arena will never see that in their lifetime. So do understand there's very little sympathy for you out here in regards to you not taking the vaccine. So if you are doing it as a point of emphasis to show people you ain't no punk, that you are a man of your principles, then take your principles and ride them out to the sunset. You've made over $100 million playing basketball. You have won an NBA championship. You might be a fringe Hall of Famer someday, perhaps. But beyond the realm of that, this is not one you're going to win. Your only hope at this point is that these vaccine mandates eventually get thrown out sometime during the course of the season. In which case, depending on where they are in the standings, the Nets will welcome you back with open arms. But I promise you, if Harden and KD and that damn your favorite player Pride, if them three manage to work it out without him, he gone. He gone. Peace. Hugh, what you think?
I think that as far as the vaccine, him taking and getting vaccinated is very important. It's detrimental to that team. But I feel like right now he's being a distraction too, man. And not only is it, I understand if that wasn't the biggest, conversation starter, that would definitely help. But it's like, most like you said, it's starting to get into other people's interviews. If you talking to me, you supposed to be talking to me about me. I'm not going to hear about what you think I feel about anybody else. That's what they're doing, But that's starting to become a bad distraction, and it's not really going over good with the team. I'm just hoping that he makes the best decision that he could and just go ahead and take it, man. And just if they want to win right now, because the window's closing, man, they need to go ahead and try to take care of business right now. And him being a distraction is not helping anything. Take care of your business because the season is too close for you to be playing games with right now.
Yeah, you already knew who I was talking about, Pride. Your boy Blake. You look good in the preseason, though. I can't lie. Plus, don't teams play to win as many games as possible and make the postseason, and hopefully with home court advantage? But he expects them to create a new star lineup without him at home. Get the Smurf out of here, Uncle Drew. Absolutely. Uncle Drew needs to just retire and pull out Kaepernick because he appears to have very little love for the game. I mean, bottom line, it does seem like he has other interests outside of basketball. And at this point, I think it's his inner circle in his ear about what to do. In the end, in a capitalistic society, most people going to say, look, I understand I don't want to take this vaccine. I'm concerned about it messing up my DNA and all that other mess that people put out there. But bottom line is I make $338,000 per game to play a kid sport. Yeah, let me go on here and shoot up. That part.
Yeah, that was our personal job to go to each and every day, man. Come on, man. That's something I love to do. How many people say, or how many people can come on this show and say they love their job? Like, literally look me in the face and say, I love my job.
Exactly.
50% of us, probably, maybe less. So to do something you love to do and the profession, like you could perfect that sport too. I mean, man, come on, man. It's like, what's the hope?
And I feel the same way as you do, Pride. I do respect his right not to take it. But either Smurf or get off the toilet and quit dragging your teammates into this. Absolutely. Yep. Because you are a distraction to your team. So that's why I am very glad that the Nets made that proclaimment today. I just wish they would have done it weeks ago. They could have saved a lot of this turmoil. And speaking of turmoil, before we go on, and remember, it's 10 o'clock, Q. We good? We good over there? No, we not good? Okay, we're going to talk about it in a second. Let me get this in, and then we will discuss. All right. Quickly talk about this man right here. Go, Hugh.
I feel like, man, he's a sellout, man, to himself. You had your foot down and you was like, you gonna put the metal to the metal, and you said, this is how I feel. Y'all need to go be you either go be with me or you go not be with me. He said, I want out. And so everybody looking like, okay, but man, dang, he ain't playing no games. Ben means business. I thought he meant business myself at first. Then I look up and see an article that not only did he come to the voluntary workouts, but he was one that went there and got vaccinated, got everything taken care of, and he wanted to go there and talk to the Philadelphia Brass. It's like, man, you think somebody gonna take you serious next time you poke your chest out? No, man, nobody take you serious, man. After that, you the donkey of the day. So I thought that was funny, man, to see that the fact that he had to, put his foot down and then you reneged like he did. I mean, I thought it was a joke and all this, if you want to explain it,
All I know is I cannot wait to the first Philadelphia home game. When they announce this fool in the starting lineup, they're going to be on his head. And the first time he come down the floor and had a wide open jump shot and don't take it, but he going to catch hell in Philly. I hope he ready. Because bottom line, they saying at this point, he is choosing to play because, one, remember, he makes more money than Kyrie. He ain't stupid. He ain't about to give up about $560,000 a game. Now, I ain't made that in about 15 years of work. And he makes that in one game. He ain't that dumb. Ben Simmons is soft as a kangaroo's fur. So true. But yeah, we're about to find out how soft he really is because they about to get up on him. And they probably gonna get on him in other places too, for that matter, but definitely in Philly. And if you don't come in balling on like an MVP type level, oh, they gonna get on your head, bro.
He better have thick skin.
Bottom line, if you come out that first night and hit that triple double and hit about 4 or 5 threes, everybody will shut the hell up. All will be forgiven for now. But if you ain't coming with something like that, where it look like you've been working on your game and you're gonna shut the hell up and just play ball, yeah, they're gonna get you. And in the meanwhile, you know the plan is at this point, if he steals a distraction weeks from now, let's see what we can do to finally get him traded. But for right now, they're trying to work with him because it more than likely will win a championship with him more so than without him. Unless, of course, they make that deal I talked about a couple weeks ago. You remember the deal? Him for Dame Dollar, straight up.
You have to do that deal, man. Unfortunately for Portland, I'd have probably crippled them a little bit, but still, to get Dame over there in Philly, man, that'd make them even more just very dangerous.
Right. Now, here's the problem, people. We started the show at 8 o'clock, so we can end it at 10. Brother got to go to work in the morning. That is my brother Hugh. Now, the problem is we done actually went the whole show and not even talk fully about the NFL. You know we can't do that. But in the end, I got to leave it to my man. We got 2 options, Hugh. We can rapid fire our way through that for about 5 minutes, or we could go ahead and let you call it a night and I can finish up, or whatever option you got in your head. What you think? What you think?
We could go ahead and rapid fire. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes.
All right. So here we go, y'all. No commercial, no time for games. Throw your comments in there. I'm gonna throw them in there right back, right quick. Okay. Here is the entire lineup of last week's games. We're gonna put them out there. You're gonna say it's cut. I'm gonna go blah, 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 and we're gonna keep going. Okay. After we read this comment right here. Heard they tried for CJ and a bunch of picks in Portland said hell no. Yeah, they said hell no. Because in the end, Ben is not a shooter. You can't take the shooter away. Now you could take Dame Dollar away. That still leaves you CJ, who is the shooter. So worst case scenario, you got CJ setting up and getting all them assists from Ben. But if you take Dame Dollar away, if you take CJ away and leave him with Dame Dollar, he don't need him for no assists. He a point guard his own self. That's why I say switch them two. But anyway, let's move on. All right, here we go. Remember, you can also say skip a pass. Okay, Packers Bengals.
That was a really intriguing game due to the fact that the Bengals, that was their game to lose, and they definitely lost it, man. What the hell was going on with the kickers, man? I looked at the NFL Red Zone, and it was more missed kicks than I've ever seen in a game, in any game. Not only the Bengals game with Green Bay, it was like another 3 or 4 games where players just could not make field goals if they like, depending on it. That's all you got to do is to kick the field goal to win the game, and they can't even do that, man. So, like, what are we paying you for?
It wasn't even a bad weather game, that game. But bottom line, Crosby at least once a year had one of them games where he just can't seem to get it right. You remember that game against the Lions last year when he missed all those extra points?
Crosby just doesn't get it right.
So they having sex before them games, them damn kickers. That might be it. Okay, next, Saints and Washington.
That was a crazy game, man. That was a game for Washington, and I thought that they should have pulled that out, man. No disrespect to the Saints, but at the same time, it was to the point where this is the reason why you guys understand why Taylor Heineke is not the starting quarterback, because I know we always talked about it, man, about hyping that.
Say it again for Coach. What you say about Heineke?
Starting quarterback, man. They need that Ryan Fitz magic, man. And I just don't feel like he's ready, man, because that was a game that he should have won, but he just couldn't do it, man. He folded under pressure.
and they still won't call Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Eagles, Panthers.
The Panthers are who we thought they were. The Panthers are who they thought we were, man. It was like at first they came out 3-0, and everybody talked about how great the defense and how great the offense was clicking, man. That last game, Sam Darnold looked lost, man. And the defense was okay, but you let a team who y'all already had y'all foot on their throat come back and beat you when they had no reason beating you. So that says more about how the Panthers are versus who the Eagles were. So yeah, man, I definitely feel like they're more pretenders than they were contenders in the first place.
The Panthers are not as good without their MVP. The MVP of that team is not Sam Darnold. It's McCaffrey. If McCaffrey is hurt, they are not as good. If he's 100%, they're as dangerous as any team in the league. Let's move on. All right, the Broncos and Steelers. We talking about that one?
You know what? Yes, because of the fact is, Pittsburgh came out ball in that game, man, and that's another pretender team. Broncos came out 3-0, man, but then you see they played the Jets, Jags, and I forgot the other team that they played, but they're all teams who haven't won a game at that point. And to basically see them now struggle like they did and how they couldn't even really get too many points on the board, I think that Teddy Bridgewater throwing the ball too much after putting a mixture in a run and pass game, and that's the biggest issue over there right now. But I feel like that was another pretender team who we know who they are.
Steelers was good that week. I don't know how they're going to look going forward because Juju is out for the season. That's going to cost them.
Even with Juju, like they're doing well.
The most passes of any team in the league right now. And of all the wide receivers who have dropped passes, most of them have dropped 9, 10, 12. Juju has only dropped 2. That's going to hurt. Okay, Titans and Jaguars. We talking about them?
Nah.
We're not talking about them, but we'll talk about their coach very briefly. Urban Meyer, in an interview this week, said that his ideal scenario for his NFL team, the Jaguars, is to have 250 yards passing and 250 yards rushing a game in an NFL. Your thoughts, Hugh?
You know that ain't gonna happen, man. And 200 yards, man, between two guys, is that really gonna happen? I don't really see that, man. And we talked about it. I said the best thing that you could get between two running backs, and maybe even get close, is the Cleveland Browns. You know, you got Kareem Hunt, and you got my man's Chubb, and Nick Chubb. I think that they could possibly get close, but yeah, that's a little, unheard of, man. And then they're not really doing so well with it. They're doing okay with the run game, but Robinson ain't gonna get that by itself.
Bottom line is, ain't no team about to average 250 running yards in the NFL. Not in the
college.
Now 250 yards passing. Oh yeah, there's gonna be several teams do that.
Yeah.
But both in a game, understand how much time you have to possess the ball to make that happen. The best passing offense in the league right now is probably the best running offense in the league right now is probably the Ravens. Ain't neither one of them on that level to do both. That's crazy talk. That is why I'm telling you, Urban Meyer is done after this year. He is done. And
he's
gone. Bottom line is, you thinking he gonna go to the USC job, Hugh? No. I'm gonna tell you where he probably gonna get work at. Say it with me, y'all. Florida State. Remember, I called it first. Let's move on. Dolphins and the Bucks. We talking about that one?
You know what? Yeah, man. And it was just because of the fact that that was weird, because I've never known the time. Tom had games where he had 5 touchdowns, but he never had 400 passing yards and 5 touchdowns, man. It was the most clean game he had. At first, it looked like, come on, man, Bucks, man, what are you guys doing? And they made not Teddy Bridgewater, my man, Jacoby Brissett. They made him look like a star at first, and then what you know, my man Brissett do. He figured out ways to lose games. He fumbled, and it was an interception. And after that, when they got the momentum, they didn't look back, man. But Tom looked pretty sharp doing that, man. And that's just weird to see a guy who's 44 years old still playing at a high level like that. I don't see it changing soon.
Yeah, we getting here in a minute, H2. Hold on. All right. Bottom line was they won that game. They're supposed to win that game. Dolphins suck. Okay. Patriots and the Texans. We talking about that game?
Who?
The Patriots and the Texans.
Nah.
No, we don't need to. The Bears and the Raiders.
No, that was a really bad game, man. But you know what, though? No, we could talk about that for a second because the Raiders are another one of those pretender teams, man. Which surprised me because when they came out 3-0, I said, man, they beat some pretty decent teams that I thought, man. But at the same time, now I'm seeing how the Chiefs are struggling. It's like, man,
say your breath. Remember, the Raiders have an interim coach now. They're done. They're done. No need to even say nothing else about the Raiders. If they go 8-8, I'd be stunned after this.
But you know what, though? After those comments Gruden made going back to that, you see it seemed like those guys wasn't there, man. They were there at the game, but they wasn't at the game, man. You can kind of see the impact of what it actually had on the players.
I mean, I hate it for Las Vegas because I want them to do well in terms of the NFL, but yeah, the Raiders got some work to do now. They got some damage control. That's definitely going to affect their season. Okay, Browns and Chargers.
Man, that was a really good game. That's probably one of the best games I've seen in a while, man. A lot of people were going hard on Baker too, man. I think Baker had a good game, but I feel like at the end he got greedy. He was trying to go for the big shots, and all he should have did was at least did a couple of dink and dunk plays, man. Try to give them at least a chance to get further downfield and then go for a big play. But he was going for big play after big play and just couldn't make it, man. And that's when a lot of guys was looking at it on ESPN saying that he plays well, but when it comes to the big moments and the spotlights on him, they just don't feel like he shine as much. And to see a young kid who's in his second year, man, and Justin Herbert, and the way he stepped up and how they played, man, that was big, man. And that shows more about, do you think that Baker Mayfield's the guy right now? If he can't, you give him the key to the franchise and he can't produce when you need him to at the most critical times, it's starting to become an issue over there with Cleveland.
All I know is we need to start talking about Herbert in that MVP conversation. That dude is playing up there. He is reminding me in his second season like another second-year quarterback back in the day, one Dan Marino. Now, understand, had those type of numbers. Dan Marino had basically one of the best seasons any quarterback ever had that year. But in terms of his composure and his ability to lead his team at a young age and them basically rely on him to get it in, yeah, I like that Herbert dude, no doubt. Okay, moving on, people. We got a few more. Cowboys and the Giants.
I definitely thought that was going to be a squash game for the fact because I don't think the Giants was on the same level, but at the same time, they did play hard and they went out there to try to, compete, but it was just too much talent on the Cowboys' behalf, man, and I was definitely not surprised to see that game go the way it did.
Coach V, I told you, bro, the Cowboys winning that division, flat out. Watch the football team, it ain't happening. They're not on that level, especially without a viable option at quarterback. It just ain't happening for them. H2 down with that. Talking about them boys. MVP candidates, we definitely got to throw Dak Prescott's name, and clearly he has completely healed from that injury. He looks better than ever.
Absolutely, man. That dude's on another level.
Speaking of MVP candidates, we got the 49ers and the Cardinals with one Kyler Murray.
That wasn't a bad game, man, and it surprised me how hard the game was. It was really contested, man. But Nick Bosa put his stamp on that game. You had to get that defense credit. They wasn't allowing all that crazy stuff, man. All it was just at the end. I kind of figured that the rookie was gonna make a mistake, and that's what he did, man. And just some of the crucial mistakes that Trey Lance made was the reason why the actual Cardinals pulled it out. But at the same time, for them to be the only undefeated team in the league, that says a lot about what the Cardinals doing in that franchise.
Okay, now we got 3 games left. You definitely gonna want to talk about all these real quick. Like, first of all, the Bills and the Chiefs.
Oh man, that just showed more about the Bills than the Chiefs, man. Because the Chiefs right now, Pride said, and I laughed when I thought about that. I said, "You're right, man." He said, "If you thought that right now that the Chiefs would be 2-3 or lost better, yeah." He said, "If you think that the lost 3 games right now in this point of the season, he'll laugh in your face." Not only did they lose 3 games, but they're under 500 too, man. And the games they lost really bad, man, against
They're
some
actually
good
last
teams.
in the division right now. That's the crazy part. They are
Yeah,
last. But
the
no, that
Chargers.
being said, they got 2 problems. One, Patrick Mahomes, I love you, bro, but you're trying to do too much. You are not Brett Favre, sir. You're doing too
Okay,
much.
look away passes, man. That only worked for so long. You started to see people catching on to it. He did that no look pass, and then it jumped off one of the players' hands. I think Samuel Jr. caught that mug, and that was one of the interceptions. But to see him throw crucial interceptions like pick sixes, and when I seen him just going crucial, interceptions at the end of that Chargers game, that's uncharacteristic of him. But like you said, when he got all that money, he started trying to put it all on his back. And I was telling you, I said, man, that money is going to start to cripple that team. It didn't cripple them that first year and that second year, but it's in that third year now. So, man, they lost Sammy Watkins, man. They're going to probably lose a couple more people just to keep him. So, yeah, man, it's starting to look like my man's Aaron Rodgers all over again. But the worst part is he got double the money Aaron Rodgers did, man. So it's like, yeah, I'm glad they got a lot of them guys back on the team, but you know what I mean? Them NFL contracts are not guaranteed. So how long they gonna be able to keep some of them players before they say, "Oh, we got to cut costs, man, and we got to make sure that we accommodate, just to keep our franchise quarterback." There's gonna be a lot more of them players walking out the door soon too. So yeah, that's not gonna help them as much neither, man. So yeah, it's starting to get to the point where they had a good run, but even Josh Gordon and all these like little, slick little picks they make and look kind of flashy and good on paper, it's not going to work.
True, true, true. Second problem, Chiefs, that defense sucks. If your name is Honey Badger, great job. Anybody else on that defense, you suck. Get it
And they
together.
paid all that money for Frank Clark, and he ain't doing anything.
Jack, just like Trey Flowers here for the Lions. But anyway, speaking of them, we'll go here. Now, I listened to that whole game. Get the Lions some credit. They played that game, okay? Bottom line, the Vikings are not very good either. But they did enough to make it happen. And in the end, when we got the 2-point conversion, everybody was all happy and jumping around. Dan Miller was on the air just talking about, wow, years ago we wouldn't even went for that play, and we wouldn't have made it. At that point, I'm thinking what I'm always thinking when I'm watching the Lions. How are we about to lose this? So here I am again, like I was a couple weeks ago. They got down the field. They got in field goal range. I start laughing hysterically all over again. What's funny, bro? Oh, the Lions about to lose this game? No, they ain't. Watch this. Didn't it happen? And I'm just cracking up. Because at this point in my Lions life, that's all I could do. And there are those of you who say, yeah, that's why I don't cheer for no team like the Lions. They suck. But understand, when you are a Detroit native, born and bred, Lions fan since the days of Billy Sims and so forth, You just don't give up on your team like that, okay? I know they suck. I know they're not going to be a good team this year. Hell, they're not going to be a good team next year. Because even if we do get the number 1 or number 2 pick, we can't pick no quarterback with that pick. Who we going to pick? You done seen NCAA football. Is there any quarterback out there right now in college football where you say, we got to have that dude? That's a franchise quarterback. On no team. No team. So that being said, we gonna suck for a while. But I really felt for Dan Campbell when he had the press conference afterwards, and you could tell he was on the verge of just completely breaking down and ugly crying, and some people got on him about that. That made me say, I want that man to be our coach. Because that motherfucker cares. He cares about his players, he cares about this city, he cares about his job. So even if we don't win the rest of these games this year, I still want him to be the coach of the line.
What I like too was the fact I seen that Drew Brees reached out to him. I said, man, this is not the same Lions team. I know a lot of people say they're the same old Lions, but this team fought, man, and they fight to the end, man. They always try to claw themselves into the contest of where they usually get to the point where they seem like they give up. They stayed in the game and they never gave up. And a lot of people, even Tony Dungy, felt bad and said, well, man, we had those bad issues as well. When I first came to the coast, man, it was like we would be so close, but we just wouldn't win. And that's when he was saying, man, it's only a matter of time, you guys, just keep fighting. It's like pistol whipping the blind kid, man. They feel so bad for us, man, that they like, man, everybody started rooting for the underdog.
I mean, but bottom line, Pride, I understand your point on that one. But first of all, have you seen Dan Campbell, the most jacked up coach in all the NFL? I dare you go to that man's face and call him a crybaby. I dare you. First of all, that dude could be the next WWE champion. You done seen that dude physique? Them shoulders, man. But second thing is, he did not cry because of that game. He's cried about what done went on this season. His team didn't damn near. In an ideal world, we got 2 or 3 extra better players at wide receiver or whatnot. We done won most of them games. It ain't been a game we done played this year that we was not in. Even the game where we had to do the hella comeback just to get to that point. So I'm not clowning. I'm concerned about his psyche. I think he's going to be all right because I do believe in these next 3-4 weeks, the Lions are going to win one. Would not be surprised if they win this week at the Bengals, even though we got more injuries than we need right now. Ragnow out for the year.
Cephas out.
Cephas out for the year, possibly. We already got that fool number 3 draft pick out for the year again.
Cool.
No, I purposely didn't say his name. I remembered his name. He sucked. You know, if I had a name for him, he'd be Toasty. That's my name for him. Because he's forever hurt, even when he was playing. Number 3 pick. But anyway, yeah. We know it's going to be a long season for the Lions, but I promise you, these next 3 or 4 weeks, they're going to find a way to win one of these games. Would not surprise me at all. But that being said, I still say they go 3-14, 4-13 at the best. And now before we go to bed, Hugh, one last one. Monday night game, Colts-Ravens. I know you saw that game.
Man, I was shocked, man. I actually saw it and I said, man, you know, better yet, the hype up around Carson Wentz. They were saying a lot of these guys was banged up, you know, and they talked about how my man Frank Wright said he looked like he was finally 100%. And when you seen the game, you looking like, damn, maybe, you know, the Colts record don't reflect on them, man, or who they are, man. You know, this game might be able to give them the opportunity to rebound and, you know, think about the rest of the season. And so it's 22-3, and I said, man, this game's just about over, man. I still think that Lamar and them have a chance, but it's not looking so good, man. So I said, I'm not going to bed. I went against going to bed. I said, I'm going to stay up and see what happened. Lamar and them scored a touchdown, and they scored again. I said, okay. and they scored to the point to where they were able to take the game into overtime. And when they took the game into overtime, that was it, man. It went from Lamar struggling to having like 4 touchdowns, man, and a guy who he didn't even meet in the end zone a lot this year, which pissed me off because he got my fantasy team. Mark Andrews, he had like 147 yards to 2 touchdowns. And it was just impressive, man, because to think that they were going to lose that game and for the Baltimore Ravens to go 4-1, man, that shows a lot about Harbaugh and that team and the growth of Lamar Jackson of all things.
Bottom line is Lamar Jackson is the truth. As they constantly talk to his mentor, Michael Vick is quick to tell you, he is not me. He is much better than me. And he proved that in that game because most of that damage he did in the fourth quarter was not him using his legs. It was him using his arm and him reading the defense and him making quality plays. Not bad for a running back, right? That part.
Absolutely.
And that being said, y'all, we about to call it a day, y'all. We about to head on up out of here. This has been Game Time Audible for the week. That is Hugh. I am E. Good night, Hugh. Thank you for riding it out with me, bro.
Yes, sir.
Rest well, my friend, because you have done a great show once again.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy. Peace out. Thanks for listening, y'all. We appreciate it.
We will catch you guys next week. Thank you very much for rocking with us. Appreciate it. And we are out. Game Time Audible is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Good night, little one. I'm fucking done. Same. Yeah, I know. Guess what? You thank you. Thank you. I put you to bed. You're little. We're going to bed. Thank you, King. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Thank you, King, for Mr. Saga. Thank you. Shout out to you said, okay. Thank you, King. Appreciate you. Okay, guys. Listen, I'm gonna get going, guys. I gotta put myself to bed. Oh, it was Wacky Wednesday. You guys gonna make breakfast? I gotta put my head in. Come on. Come in. I mean, what's up, you guys? What's up, coffee bag? You guys are just coming in. I'm just leaving. You guys are coming in. I gotta put my little one to bed. You missed it. You know what? I know if it wasn't for exclusive, today would have been a very super dry day. So that's what it is. Come here, alright, guys. Coffee bag. Mama duties. Mama duties. Good night, guys. Nice to see you. like you guys, make sure you're tapping the screen, sharing the live. I just got home. I've been out of the house since what, 4 p.m. Hey, Percy. Tap the screen, everybody. How's your night going on? I'm just trying to get my little appetite. See what we can do with these 2 hours. You were up to 3 hours? How'd you do? I was in a panel. I got lucky earlier. I won 5 shields gambling. It's cold out here. It's quite high maintenance. But listen, I maintain myself, okay? So if I can do it, you can do it too. Right? What's up, ID? Alpha. What's up, Alpha? That's like my hiking gear. I love my hiking gear. So how was your day off? What did you do today? It's a weekday. Mostly you're probably work. Let me find out. You will have to scrap this one just to get 90K. Are you getting your rebates back, though? Yes, or? Do you work? What's up, bro? Do people think people of Vigo don't work? Or you were just asking? That's your girl. If I'm your girl, you're not spoiling me. Oh, the rebates no, but you can reuse those for gifting, right? I see. It's okay. Where you at now? It's only half a month. Where you at? Well then. I look amazing. Thank you, Tiger. Nice. Make sure you're tapping the screen. Tap the screen, follow me. Let me know where you're from. Don't make me pull my socks off. It's business time, okay? It's business time. Let's get it. Whose butt are we kicking this month? Whose butt are we kicking this month? What's up? The best? Thank you. Like 34K? How's that possible? We was winning it. Okay. Well, we gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it either way. Like I said, if you need me to hold something for you for that next month, I have no problem with that. You know, I will. Like I said, we working. What's up, exquisite? How you doing? Save your bees, huh? Thank you, Hans. I appreciate you. You know I got you. I got some PKs coming up. My last PKs for the month. Somebody gotta win. Right? Somebody's got to win. But you're gonna win too, don't worry. We're gonna get it. Listen, 34,000 on the big team isn't even that bad. We're halfway there. I gave you last month. Thank you, I appreciate you. You guys are almost there, okay? Just got that big shield energy. Tonight.